Right. So my screen is okay. Say thumbs up. Thumbs up. Great. So again, it's the same idea. We do 1 minute just pitch to let everybody know what you'll be talking about. And then each participant will present either the description of the organization, your trajectory, a paper that you wrote, a project, program, or resource that you're working on, or something that you find interesting, maybe your idea for a think tank, and you can get feedback from others, whatever you think would be interesting. So the groups have been divided into two again. There's the same group that the group that did not present today will present today. And for today, the structure will be like this. So all participants will give a 1 minute pitch of what they'll be discussing. Then presenting participants will be assigned to specific rooms, and participants who are listening will choose which room to join. Each presenter will do their 7 minute presentation, and then the group will have a Q&A, or you can have a Q&A throughout. That's for the group to decide. But now the breakout session, the breakout room will last for 40 minutes. It will be 3 presenting participants per group. And then you have, so it will be around 21 minutes of presentation and 19 minutes of group discussion. We hope that this time is sufficient for everybody to discuss. And then we can feed back to the group in a plenary for either brief or longer debrief, depending on how the discussions have gone in the group. We shared a link yesterday to upload presentations. So please upload your presentations there so we can put them up on the website and everybody can see where you work, what you shared, and what you want to share with the rest. We also will be asking one person per room to record the session because we can only record where we are. So we cannot be split into 5. So we'll be giving permission to record to 1 participant per group. Hope you'll be able to do it. If you can't, there's no problem. But we want to capture what you discuss as well, and so others can then join the session, can see virtually what you were discussing. So we'll be giving you record permission when you see if your Slack change, if your Zoom changes and you see a record function, please record on your computer and then upload the video of the recording in the Google Drive that we shared. And with that, today we have the following people. We'll do the 1 minute pitch first, and then we'll break out into groups. 1 second, I'm gonna share the bong. Amara and everybody else who's presenting today, if you can start getting ready.
Hi, my name is Amara.
Wait, one.
Oh, I'll wait.
Okay, go.
Hi, my name is Amara, and I'm from the Myanmar Institute for Peace and Security. And we are as a security and peace-related think tank. And then we have one of the largest peace-related database in Myanmar. We have all the peace-related data and conflict-related data. We have both nearly real-time and also have retrospective data. And we produce the conflict data and also how the conflict impact on the other different sectors, like conflict economy and socio-economic condition in the conflict-related areas. And we are now even trying our machine learning on the data we acquire. That is the one major project. So the idea is, we don't want to rely too much on the project and project basis. So what we are thinking is we develop the product and then we try to expand the product as like other private sector do and like a startup. And this is what we are doing right now. So in my department, I'm responsible for the day-to-day operation. In my department, focus more on the security dialogue, both internally, that is the peace dialogue, and then also external dialogue in the ASEAN level and regional level. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Amara. That was good. I know it's brutal with the bong, but just to keep us on edge. Now, Amara will be in room 2. Now we have Carlos Felipe. If you want to go, you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Carlos Felipe Escobar. I live in Bogota, Colombia. I'm the father of Sarah and Sylvia and husband of Lina. This is the most important part in my life. And then, well, I used to be a medical doctor. Now, for more than 20 years, I've got involved in higher education management, mainly leadership roles in several institutions. And well, my last initiative was the setup of a hub for innovation and entrepreneurship, focusing health and education sciences. And now this new role I'm moving on is to set up a new think tank focusing health and the future of health, and well, of course, influencing in these issues in my country. So, well, I think that's it.
Thank you, Carlos Felipe. Carlos Felipe will be in room 3. Now we have Caroline.
Hi, everyone. Yes, Caroline now here. So my name is Caroline. I'm based in Nairobi, Kenya. I work for a research organization that's International Center for Tropical Agriculture. So in room 4, I'll be presenting what my group, which I lead, which is working on policies and institutions for climate action, how we want to position ourselves as a thought and research leader in the space of providing evidence for climate action. So I will be talking about how we see how we are going to be able to influence policy and decision makers, and what we seek to do internally as a team, also to be able to build our capacity. So it's just not about what we are going to do externally, but also internally, what are we trying to do? Because we need to have the right team with us to be able to achieve that goal. So welcome, and look forward to talking to you.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Caroline. Caroline will be in room 4. Next up, we have Diego. Diego, are you ready?
Yes,
Go.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Diego. I'm based in Brasilia, Brazil's federal capital. It's very sunny and warm here. I invited all of you to come. The weather is quite nice. I work in the private sector in Brazil. I work for Brazil's largest business organization, but I also work as a volunteer in a think tank dedicated to government relations. So I'll be talking about this think tank. It's quite new, has only 5 years. So we have a number of challenges that I wanted to share, and also talk about the issues that we deal with in the think tank, mainly lobbying regulation, transparency, anti-corruption, good regulatory practices, everything related to the functioning of government and relationship with the private sector. Thank you.
Thank you, Diego. Right on time. Diego will be in room 5. Next up, we have Donia. Donia, are you ready? And go.
Okay, hi. So I think everybody knows I'm from Tunisia now. I am going to talk about my humble self, my trajectory actually more, the fact that I've been working for the past 20 years. It's been long, and how I've shifted from, actually I've always been working in the communication sector, but after 20 years of working on policy development, more or less economic development, and for my country always in one way or another, I felt that there was a huge gap that needed to be addressed. And I was very frustrated wherever I've been in the past 20 years that it was always the same thing. So I decided that I would give it a try and start this think tank. And I'm targeting particularly the education sector. So it's more in social sciences that I'm targeting this think tank. But what I want it to be is a think and do tank, because my real aim is to try and go for support for policy implementation. Sorry, I'm done.
Sorry, I need to make it equal for everybody.
You're right.
Thanks, Donia. Donia would be in room 2. Next up, we have Jelena or Jelena. Are you ready?
Yes. Let me just turn on my video. Oh, hi everyone. My name is Jelena. That is the correct pronunciation. I am a researcher at the Belgrade Center for Security Policies. Since 3 of my colleagues from the same organization talked about it probably yesterday, I will not say much unless you are interested. You can always ask me. I am working mostly on the European integration process of Serbia and the Western Balkans as a region of which Serbia is a part of. So I will speak about how this accession process we use as a framework for our operations. And I also build upon what we learned yesterday, how the change in context affects what we do and which function of a think tank we put in the spotlight. So that's it. Join me in my room.
Great. Thank you, Jelena. Jelena will be in room 3. Next up, we have
Jelena.
Jelena.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Now we have Kane.
Hi, everyone. I am Kai from Yangon, Myanmar. Today, I'm going to share my organization, which is one of the local NGO in Myanmar. The name of my organization is Gender Equality Network. So as you may notice in the organization name, we mainly focus to get the gender equality in all levels and all sectors in Myanmar, especially for the women who can raise their hand and their right, and also who can lead their respective position and something like that. If you want to know more detail about, please come and join my room 3. Thank you very much.
Great, Ken. Thank you very much. Now, next up we have Maninavan. Let me put you on the spotlight.
Yeah. Hi. My name is Ramu Manivanan. I'm a professor and a social activist, and I'm yet to find where do I locate myself, and because I always wanted to practice what we teach in the classroom or an experiment in the laboratory. And so I started working with the refugees for nearly about 25 years, refugees from Sri Lanka, and also the democracy advocates from Myanmar and Tibetan refugees. And so this is the kind of the rights advocacy role I've been doing with them. Then the rural part of India, they're also voiceless people. So I work on education, sustainable development, and politics. So I'm primarily a grassroots person. And in the process, I found about like there's a tremendous scope for knowing and learning the knowledge systems at the grassroots. And so every year, and besides doing all this, and I also take a month to walk in the Himalayas for about 200 kilometers. And that kind of like, keeps me connected to the, what you call as the earth. And so I'm in the process of setting up a think tank in India, and that would speak for the voiceless. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maninavan. Now, next up, Marina will be in room 1. Now we have Maria Amat. Maria, are you ready? Are you here?
I don't see her in the participants list.
No. Okay, I think we missed today. Then we have Mason. May, you're here?
Yes.
Great. There you go.
Okay. So I'm Mason from Myanmar. You can call me May or Tho. It's okay. And I'm going to talk about my very small organization, which is based in Gaya State. It's a very local one, and we are very small, so we only have 3 or 5 people academic researcher here. And we also stay in a different location. So I mean, amidst COVID. And I'm talking about my organizations, where we start, what we are doing, and what's our mandate, and the consultancy we are working on currently. And I will talk about my research and consultancy work in Myanmar. So join me in my room number 1. So thank you.
Thank you very much, May. May would be in room number 1, as mentioned. Next up, we have Ma. Are you ready?
Yes, I am. Hi, everyone.
Great.
My name is Ma. I'm a research fellow at the Center for the Study of the Economies of Africa. We're based out of Abuja, Nigeria. CC is one of the very few indigenous think tanks that conducts economic research in Nigeria, which is, Africa's largest economy and Africa's most populous country. And although ordinarily the think tank conducts research across several areas, public finance, trade, global economic governance, a lot of the work that we've gotten or that we're getting now is related to COVID-19. And so I'll be presenting the findings from one of the policy briefs that we just did on the agenda for sustainable economic transformation post-COVID-19 in Nigeria. It's going to be centered mostly on debt for climate swaps, how relevant this is to Nigeria, and it will be really nice if you join me in my room. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma. Ma will be in room number 2. And next up we have Mia Ted. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Great, go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mietet Tissa. You can call me Mietet. I'm the founder and CEO and researcher as well of Enlighten Myanmar Research Foundation, MREFT. So MREFT is a research organization constituted with 3 research programs, parliamentary research and support program, gender research programs, human rights, democracy, and peace research programs. And we also have a program for research methodology trainings. Today, what I would like to share with you is how research organization in Myanmar, MREFT, is making its effort to make research and our knowledge more accessible to public, and to make to advocacy the sensitive research topics like Rohingyas and how they have been systematically long-term institutionalized discriminations in Myanmar. So if you are interested in that, please join with me today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mietet. You will be in room number 4.
Yes. Thank you.
Next up, we have Osman.
Yeah.
Ready,
Hi,
Osman?
everyone. Yes, I'm ready. My name is Uthman. I'm from Saudi Arabia. 50% of the world's population is younger than 30, but 90% of those who are younger than 30 live in developing countries. They face a lot of challenges across education, employment, health, what have you. And these were the challenges were quite big before COVID-19 came along. After COVID-19, they became huge. Most of my work, I work on youth affairs, focusing globally and locally. So today I will be presenting on the Global Youth Index, which aims to assess 25 countries on how well they prepare their youth for the knowledge economy. So if you're interested into that, please join me in room 4. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Othman. And just in time, Othman will be in room 4. Next up, we have Pamela. Pamela, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Great.
Hi, everyone. I'm Pamela Gopal, joining you from Pretoria, South Africa.
representing the Strategic Initiatives Division of the African Union Development Agency. This year, the agency turns 20, and tomorrow actually we'll be hosting our 20-year symposium. The event will be attended by President Cyril Ramaphosa of South Africa and President Paul Kagame of Rwanda, and many other eminent speakers, and I'm happy to share the link of the event with you. I joined the school as an opportunity provided by Enrique to learn more from you, as I am tasked to establish a policy bridge tank in the agency to help bridge the gap of knowledge dissemination and create a platform between think tanks, African member states, policymakers, and development practitioners. So to hear a bit more on our historical background and more on the policy bridge tank, please join me in my room where I will serve you cake and tea.
Oh, I wish I could join that room then. Pamela, thank you. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Pamela. Pamela would be in room 1. And last but not least, we have Nusha. Are you ready?
Hi, yes, I'm Nusha. I'm half Russian, half Vietnamese, now based in Belgium. And in my presentation, I'll be speaking about our initiative that started not so long ago, and that is really aspiring to be a think tank. And if you're interested, I'll be talking about our trajectory and some of the projects that we already have and our hopes for future. Yeah, welcome to the room and see you soon.
Great. Thank you, Nusha. Let me stop this bit so you don't get the bomb. I'm going to share now the screen so you can everybody can see again and more clearly where everybody should be going, because I understand it's difficult to remember all the information and difficult to choose as well between all the different and interesting initiatives that you are working on. So what we'll do now is Cristina will, everybody who's presenting will be asked to join a specific room. And those of you who are listening will do one by one and we'll assign you to the room. So in the order that we see you, we'll be calling on you and asking you to tell us which room you want to go into.
Donya, too bad that you left the room. It was really interesting story.
I'm happy to continue anytime. I mean, because it is really interesting. Sorry. What was I saying? Oh yeah, destruction of the state. Favorite topic.
You had an example. The worst cliffhanger.
Smuggling.
Yeah, who's asking about the example? Yes, the example. Actually, no, I'm just going to keep on talking. The rest of you, I'm sorry if it's a burden. So recently in Tunisia, 3 months ago, you've got this bunch of guys that literally just seized a gas pump in the south of the country. And it's just a bunch of guys. I mean it. They just have, they decided that they didn't have jobs in the administration. So they cut off the gas on half the country. And it stayed for 6 weeks. I mean, in any other country, this is national security. You send the military, you do something. I mean, I'm not saying violence, but you just protect your goods, your assets of the country for the global public good, right? No, in Tunisia, we had a negotiating team from the government who 6 weeks after the pump was closed decided that, okay, maybe we should talk to these guys. They're serious about what they're doing. And we had a negotiating team that agreed to all their demands. Guess what happened? 2 weeks later, another group of guys decided, oh, we don't have work in the administration, so we're shutting down electricity. And they shut down electricity. What is this?
Tonya, we're in the group. Everybody, I don't know if everybody was
passionate about this. Sorry,
was aware of what you were talking about, but we appreciate the passion that you put into this. I know we had another brutal ending, but I think every ending is brutal in a way. And I skimmed around, I don't know if skim is a word, but I went around a couple of groups at the beginning to give you recording options, and I saw that you were all deep in conversation. and I joined quietly one group, and I also saw that it was a really interesting discussion coming up. And I wanted to, in the last couple of minutes, to invite people, one person from each group, if they want to share something briefly on what they were discussing. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna put the clock up for 1.5 minutes for each feedback person, so we don't run over time. But before we do that, an idea that came up in a group that I joined in last night is to have after-hour sessions. So given the structure and the time difference, we're only able to structure this time slot from 12 GMT to 15 GMT. But if there's interest, what we can do is we can set up, I'll share a survey to see who is interested in after-hour sessions and who's interested in sharing those sessions and in which topic. So after that, I'll put a message to the group saying that we have set up this, who will be sharing these after-hour sessions, and anyone can join that. We'll provide a structure, but you will have to do the sessions yourselves, because it might be 3 in the morning for some, or 3 p.m. for others. But we'll make sure that we provide the space for you to keep engaging and have no brutal endings like I did with everyone, and especially Donia at the moment. So I'll start calling from group to group. From group 1, anyone wants to share what you were discussing? Group 1, Cristina, can you, I think you took a picture of who was in group 1.
So group 1 is Maysin, Pamela, and Ramu.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maysin, Pamela, Ramu.
I think Ramu.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I'm happy to do that. And so we talked about, like, Pamela talked about the structure and the coordination, as well as about the opportunities for sharing about the African, with the African Union, and how the classification of the organization and how effective it is. And it's a quite an impressive presentation she made about the policy input, and then the exchanges that happen, and to a question about, like, being located in South Africa, it kind of like the government and the system is very well structured to invite and accommodate the civil society as well as the think tanks. But she also mentioned about, like, the very wide, there's a great need for the understanding and appreciating the prospect of several hundreds of think tanks that lay in the continent, whose ideas and works are not being recognized, acknowledged, or being received. And in May's work, and she presented a very beautifully organized presentation, and she made about the Research Republic, and where she talked about, like, engaging the researchers, and engaging the researchers in terms of, like, training, and then, like, articulation, and then the issues. Then particularly she mentioned about the young researchers training on research methodology, and which I find is very interesting, because of the fact that, like, in the apart from the universities and the research organizations, the local knowledge systems also are very important. So she classified by local, and then the national and the global, the methodologies being accommodated in research pursuit, which is a very impressive. And I wanted to acknowledge that, the part of that May's presentation. And in my own presentation, I talked about the civil society. I'm myself an activist and an academic, and I see the need for bridging the gap between the two, and at the same time that I work on with the refugees and at the civil society, in a way as you have the deprived and the marginalized, both at the national as well as at the local and at the global level. Whether it is the global south, or it is in the national level, is the state versus the non-state actors, at the local as the rural, and then the impoverished. And so that sometimes we also have the need to intervene in foreign policy. And so this is the local think tanks is kind of needed for those articulation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. That was quite a good wrap up, and we got a feel of your discussion. So, group 2, who wants to share? I see Marcel. Okay, go Marcel.
Thank you. Yeah, let me try to stay within the 1 minute. We had 1.5 minutes. We had 3 separate discussions on 3 projects. Ma presented on a research paper that they are currently working on, which is a debt for climate idea for Nigeria, where you substitute the paying back of external debt by local investment in energy efficient projects. That was very interesting. Secondly, Amara shared a little bit about what his think tank is doing, and particularly on the activity of collecting data on the conflict in Myanmar. Very extensive data with 300 variables, and providing that to different international organizations. And also interestingly, beginning to develop the idea of partnering with the Taiwanese government to use artificial intelligence to analyze this data in the future. And lastly, Donia talked about the idea of establishing a think tank in Tunisia, and particularly the context there in which it is really hard to bridge a gap between policy ideas and implementation. So the question, how do you generate policy ideas, and how do you guarantee that there's an uptake for these ideas, and how these ideas can be implemented? Yeah, that is basically the 3 topics that our room was discussing.
Great. Thank you, Marcel. Right on time. Perfect summary of 3 presentations, 30 seconds each. So group number 3, anyone wants to share? If not, Christina, that you have can you?
So room number 3 is Carlos, Yelena, and Kain.
Well, hi. Well, we were we had very different positions in different organizations. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So it was very diverse, and we had some technical difficulties at the beginning. So I guess we lost 5 minutes and then didn't have enough time to discuss. We mostly presented what our organizations do. Kai's organization dealing with gender equality in Myanmar. Carlos Felipe, that is actually in the process of establishing a think tank in Colombia dealing with health politics and health education, if I understood correctly. And he showed actually how he built on his vast experience in the field and from academia in this process, while I talked about how my organization adapted to change of context in Serbia relating to the European integration framework, and how we use this accession framework to try to make reforms in Serbia, but it doesn't work. So how do we cope with the government and institutions that are not willing to cooperate with us?
So room 4 was Othman, Miatet, and Caroline, but Caroline is gone.
Okay, let's say Othman. I'm going to put you in the spotlight.
No, that's totally fine. I have to jump to a meeting, but I'll get through this. So basically, there are 3 presentations today. The first was by Caroline, and she really talked about her alliance that she's a part of and how she's focusing on accelerating change in Nairobi. She's mostly focused on food systems solutions, and she has a framework for combining agriculture, environment, and nutrition together to come up with the right equation of solving those challenges. Next up was Miatet. As usual, her her presentation was fantastic. And she was talking about was the Myanmar system and her focus on how to bring up difficult topics to basically advocate for it for decision makers. And she was talking about political economy, justice, political parties, and Rohingya as one of the key elements of her discussions. And then for myself, I was talking about young people in G20 countries specifically and focusing on youth development across the ages of 18 to 30, focusing on education, employment, as well as global citizenship and health.
Great. Thanks, Othman, for the quick summary. And finally, anyone from Group 5 wants to share?
Yeah, me.
Sorry,
Diana.
I can't. So, who?
Diana.
Diana. Great.
Okay. We learned about lobbies in Latin America, specifically in Brazil, where Diego works. How to deal with private sector interests is the main question. In Latin America, it is common to the capture of the state by the private sector. So there are no clear laws because that allows those who have economic power to decide what is done or not. And about the work of NOSHA, NOSHA works on issues of sustainable urban development of intermediate and small cities, since there is a lot of work and interest in the capital cities, but little is done in smaller cities. Not only in terms of economic support, but also in working with population. I think is that briefly sum.
Okay, great. So thank you everybody for sharing your presentations. I see that a lot of people have to move now, but thank you all for your presentations. I'm sure that every group was really, really interesting. And thank you again for a great day, and see you tomorrow. We can share a reaction for today. I'm gonna clap you for your presentations. And I'll share the survey for after our sessions to see if there's appetite for that. And thank you again, and see you tomorrow.